What's up, everyone? This is Jay from FantasyLabs, and I'm joined here with Pete, a.k.a. CSU Ram 88, to break down the Friday, February 19th, 14-game NBA slate. I know tonight was just a warm-up little 3-game slate, but tomorrow I think is the biggest slate of the season. Are you ready for this slate, Pete, after our amazing All-Star break trip?
I don't know if I'm ready for it. I mean, it's going to be hectic tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. We got injuries. We got trade news. Definitely a lot going on, and it's going to be interesting to navigate cash games and tournaments. So certainly fun. Not as fun as our All-Star break trip where we got up to the mountains, and you pretty much ruined everyone's trip. You took different people on the team and sabotaged them in some aspects, including me.
What did I do to you?
Dude, somehow I got suckered into the worst bet I've ever made. Pride bet, where we jumped.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow. I almost got rid of over half of our company single-handedly.
And you crushed all our souls in pool and Mario Kart, Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Crushed everyone's pride as well.
Yeah, I'm probably on the clock now that I'm thinking about it of getting fired after this. The last week was, pretty horrible. I think it was like Final Destination type scenarios for everybody in our company that narrowly escaped death.
Justin ran the hottest, though. Justin Fan lost a snowboard on the trip. Somehow lost his board, had to hike down the mountain, but the rental company that he got it from didn't charge him. So he ran pretty hot. Also, he didn't miss his flight. He did pretty well with all the jelly bean wagers. So good for Justin.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone run hotter than him in an entire week because he was set up to be doomed the whole, like everybody else. I mean, we got Bill missed a flight. Brian got like a broken nose.
Just a total face plant. We all saw it.
John almost died every night. I mean, it was a really rough trip for all those guys, but I had so much fun. It was like the greatest trip ever for me.
Oh, yeah. We dominated. We had a great day of boarding and skiing on Tuesday, enjoyed the All-Star break, and somehow everyone made it out safe and okay in the company, even though Jay tried to sabotage them. You have a 14-game slate, though, Jay. Yeah,
let's jump into this. I think injuries alone will take us probably up until like lineup lock. So, let's get it going.
Yeah, we'll try to get this pod out before lineups lock. We're recording late on Thursday night, so hopefully we can finish.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, well, let's talk Dallas and Orlando first. We got a 190 or 201 spread, and it's basically a pick 'em at this point. Give us the news and notes here, Jay. Obviously, the Friday.
I mean, there were only like 4 trades. I mean, this was the most embarrassing trade deadline I think in a long time. It's horrible, but even then, it's still overwhelming to kind of break it down. But on the Mavs side, we got Devin Harris is questionable with a sprained left toe. He's 50-50 to play. On the Magic side, CJ Watson is probable with a sore left calf, and Jason Smith is questionable with back spasms. And then one of the trades today was Tobias Harris. They dumped Tobias Harris and Channing Frye, and they got back Ersan Ilyasova and Brandon Jennings. So definitely a little bit of a change for the Magic. I'm assuming they're going to have the same starting lineup of Alfred, Oladipo, Fournier, Aaron Gordon, and Vooch. I'll start with the Mavs side. Cash-wise, I'm not really on anybody on that team when they're all pretty healthy. Any tournament plays you're looking at? The only guys I can think of, maybe Darren and maybe some Parsons and possibly Dirk after a long rest. Those are kind of the 3 guys I'm looking at for some.
Guys. I'm biased towards Dirk. I mean,
I
love Dirk, one of the greats, one of the best power forwards. I mean, obviously, the one thing with tournaments, you want super high upside, and I don't know if he offers.
Exactly, yeah. None of these guys really offer too much upside.
I just like Dirk. I mean, I don't know. There's no great analysis. He's 6K, one shot. I mean, he can still get 40, 45.
Yeah, no, it's very cheap. I'm not going him in cash even at that cheap price. But yeah, these guys, there's no one really in cash I'm looking at on the Mavs.
Any dunk contest narrative with Aaron Gordon? Maybe he got some extra swag.
Speaking of dunk, I mean, you ran so well too with that dunk contest.
Yeah, Bales took Aaron Gordon.
That was a rigged dunk contest.
I won't say rigged, but
close to it. But yeah,
Epic dunk contest nonetheless.
Gordon's dunk was insane. That was one of the craziest dunks I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was one of the best dunks I've ever seen. All of his dunks were great. All of them with the mascot, dude. The mascot, if you're fading. Imagine you're watching a dunk contest and you have Jelly Beans guys, and you're fading Gordon. Whenever that mascot was out,
yeah,
devastated.
He was the mascot just made Aaron Gordon convert every single dunk.
You know that dunk that he did? He would have gotten third place in the high jump in the Olympics. Did you see that?
Wow. No.
Yeah,
no.
8 feet 1 inch won it, and he would have gotten bronze by like half an inch or something.
Wow.
Just as high as his legs were jumping like that, and obviously he didn't do the best form for it, but he just
yeah. That was crazy, and he still lost. Is he? Are you looking at him at cash at all with Tobias out of the picture now?
I mean, maybe. I probably not.
It's like $6K. So, yeah.
Too expensive, but
yeah, not great. What about Vucevic? I think is fine in cash, especially on DK. 7,300, kind of on fire lately, playing really well. I kind of like Fournier a little bit more on FanDuel, a little cheaper, and kind of locked into those big minutes here with Tobias out and him in the starting, assuming he's in the starting lineup again. So there are definitely some guys I like here for cash. And then tournament, we've seen Elfrid Payton do really well lately. Definitely leans more of a tournament play for me. I think he's pretty cheap.
How much is Brandon Jennings going to cut into his minutes?
And then
fired the last 3, but he was playing
right. And then CJ Watson's also probable. So that I lean a bit more tournament play. I don't want to go him in cash with those question marks kind of behind him there. So, and then maybe some Oladipo tournament exposure too.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to Detroit at Washington. Obviously, a ton of the biggest trade of the day was Markieff Morris. If you look at this game right now, the 211.5 over under. Washington's favored by 1 on a back-to-back. And this game has some fancy goodness, Jay Sean.
Yeah, no, it does for sure. I'll start with injuries with the Pistons side. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is fully expected to play with a strained core muscle, so we can expect him back in the starting lineup, sending Stanley Johnson back to the bench. Reggie Jackson is probable. He sat last game with an illness, but he had all break to recover. Tobias, who they just traded for, is questionable with a sore left ankle. And then we have news that Anthony Tolliver will start in this game, having Tobias, assuming he plays, off the bench. So kind of kills his value, and Tolliver's in the first game. Then on the Wizards side, we got Gary Neal, questionable with a sore right leg. He actually sat out tonight. And then, we'll have Beal, I assume, off the bench if he plays. The Wizards are playing 3 games in 3 nights, which is insane. So that's kind of why Beal's came off the bench tonight. And I'd expect him to be limited tomorrow if he plays. I could see him sitting. It's possible. So it's something to monitor for sure. And they started big with Nene. I'm not sure if they'll do that again in this game. So that's another thing to kind of monitor there. But, the trade for both teams, really, the Pistons traded Ilyasova and Brandon Jennings for Tobias, and then Joel Anthony for Donatas Motihunas and Marcus Thornton. So complete makeover for the Pistons, just loading up on these guys for cheap. Pretty boss move by Van Gundy on this deadline. So with the Pistons, is there anyone? I mean, this is the Wizards on back-to-back, really high total. Who are you looking at in cash here with this new team?
Dude, I like everyone here. I like Reggie Jackson. I like Drummond. I guess
those.
Marcus Morris should play well here too now.
Yeah, I like Marcus Morris a lot as a tournament play. Definitely, I love Drummond as a tournament play, and I think you can get away with him in cash even as well. Tolliver starting, Tobias off the bench, can't do much there.
I meant to bring this up. One of my biggest regrets in my DFS career is played Tolliver in the NBA basketball final for DraftKings last year.
Oh,
pretty
brutal.
It was after he had some stretch of some decent games. One game he got hot from 3.
Oh man, that's
kind of it's still cheap. His price was kind of inflated.
It's disgusting. Ugh.
Nothing more tilting than watching him just stand in the corner and do nothing.
Yeah, he's very good at that. It's because you didn't win because you didn't have the fan model last year,
obviously.
But Yeah, so those are kind of the guys. Stanley off the bench now, a little tougher with Pope back, so can't really go him. I don't mind him as a tournament play. I don't even mind Pope as a tournament play either, assuming he's 100%. So
The problem with Stanley Johnson is his price came up so much after that good stretch.
yeah, and with Pope back, it kind of it's horrible, but great matchup obviously for all these Pistons guys. So
I like Pope, dude. Pope is he could have a decent game.
Exposure to a lot of these guys is I definitely recommend with this high total.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great spot overall. On the Washington side, I mean, we got to love John Wall.
Yep, love John Wall.
The wings of Beal's out. I mean, there's some interesting guys for sure. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and the trade that they made was they traded Chris Humphries and DeJuan Blair for Markieff Morris, actually, which pretty solid trade. Kind of a piece that I think they can definitely utilize. So he's fully expected to start, so we could see
he's going to play and start tomorrow?
He's expected to start, yeah.
Oh, dude, you know what? We have the narrative street of brother versus brother here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Marcus and Markieff, they share. Still, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they share everything. Yeah, they love each other. We also got a brother matchup with the Lopez brothers again. So yeah, definitely the brother narrative is in full force for this slate.
Oh yeah,
pretty huge.
Markieff starting is really interesting. I really love this pickup for Washington. Definitely the biggest trade in my opinion.
Yeah.
Wall Markieff pick and pop, Beal Markieff pick and pop is going to be huge. Obviously, they have a lot of flexibility with Markieff in terms of what he can do stretching the floor. He also can post up really well for his size.
Yeah, no, I think it's just kind of an attitude thing why teams were off him. But yeah, he's definitely talented, a good fit for this team. I think it helps him a lot. So I think, Wall cash is cash playable in this game. Markieff is tough. I think he kind of teeters there.
He's kind of play only.
And then I don't mind some Gortat exposure, but I don't really love him with Keith there starting next to him too much fantasy wise. So we'll see how that goes, and I might have some exposure to him just kind of with this high total and him getting a lot of minutes in this one versus Drummond. So that's about it for that team though that I'm looking at.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving, dude, because this is going to be a marathon. Already, 2 games in.
Oh, it's huge. Huge slate.
Only 2 out of 14 so far.
It's absurd.
It is absurd. And we're shooting to get this done before 7 Eastern.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Golf. By the way, Jay, did you see that I tweeted this out? Look at the birthday card the fiance got me.
I saw, yeah. That's pretty impressive, man.
Dude, that's like a real bag. Real nice.
Yeah, you get mini clubs and everything.
Oh yeah, except they have glitter on them, which is kind of.
It's okay. It's fine.
Only on the woods though. It's not. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, not on the drivers. I hope.
No, on the driver.
Oh. Well, that's all right.
It's all good.
Play a short game.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to New York, Brooklyn here. Lopez
brothers, yeah.
Yeah. 201.5 total. Looks like Brooklyn's favored by 3 right now. Is that right?
Knicks are favored by 3. Dang.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knicks are favored by 3 here. Initial thoughts on the game and news and notes here, Jay.
Yeah, there's nothing. These New York teams just sat back, no trades, no injuries. I mean, yeah, they couldn't even get rid of Thad at all. I feel like a lot of teams wanted him and could have used him.
Hold on, they're still trying to win or something.
I don't know what they're doing. I mean, the team is just in the worst situation possible out of every NBA team, salary cap wise, age wise, talent wise. I mean, it's just a joke.
No draft picks.
Yeah, no draft. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. So of course they just sit back at the trade deadline and keep their not even good assets really. So yeah, no injuries or news or anything. These teams have played twice before already, so we kind of have a glimpse of what to expect, I guess. I think the Knicks side, I mean, Melo, maybe cash. He's still cheap, I think.
Oh, yeah. I like Melo a lot. 8,600 on DraftKings, averaging 46.5 points versus Brooklyn. I guess he only played one of the games. But
yeah, he sat out the other. But, I like Melo quite a bit. It's probably really hard to fit him on this slate, like as in there are a lot of value guys. This kind of sets up as probably a stars and scrubs night, just with the trades and new players and some injuries here and there. But so I don't think you really need to pay for Melo when you want to pay for some of these other guys and even better matchups and scenarios. So, but I think he's an option. And then I like Porzingis for tournaments. He's had big games against the Nets.
Right. Okay. I think that's more than fair. Definitely like Porzingis a good bit as well. I think he could have a really nice second.
Yeah. I like Porzingis a lot. I would even consider him even in cash if everything worked out for the rest of your lineup. But as of now, more of a tournament play.
Okay. All right. What about the Brooklyn side? I mean, Thad.
No, yeah, nobody. I mean, Thad, Brook Lopez, maybe some tournament exposure, but that's it for me.
I think Brook Lopez versus brother. I mean, he's been decent against him so far, but that's one of those things where his brother's got to know all his moves, what he wants.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
Versus the defender there in that scenario.
Well, the Knicks have length in the front court. I mean, it's just not an easy matchup for players like Brook Lopez. So it's something I'm avoiding. Pretty strong here. So Thad's the kind of guy, the only guy I'd consider a little exposure to probably. Kind of just off the Nets though, overall in general here.
Yep. All right. Well, let's keep moving to Charlotte and Milwaukee. 202 total. Charlotte's favored by 1. What are your thoughts here, Jay?
Yeah, so the Hornets, Spencer Hawes is out at least 2 games, the lower back strain. We're getting Al Jefferson, his return from a torn right meniscus, so he will play, likely be very limited and most likely off the bench. And then Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, obviously out for the season, torn right shoulder, surgery, so pretty horrible. They actually traded P.J. Harrison away and Brian Roberts, and they got back Courtney Lee. Courtney Lee was expected to start, but his physical kept him out of practice, so he's ruled out for Friday. So they're pretty thin, actually. And then Marvin Williams is questionable with a strained neck. So, yeah. So, I mean, I love Kemba and Batum doing all the heavy lifting lately. Al Jeff, it's going to take some time, I think, for him to kind of get back into the swing of things and work his way to full minutes. So, yeah, it's Kemba and Batum I'm looking at. And then I think Cody Zeller will start. Marvin Williams might start at the 3 with possibly Kaminsky starting at the 4. They kind of want to go big. Clifford wants to go big to match up against the Bucks. So we could see an interesting starting lineup here that could offer some nice value, especially if Kaminsky draws a start. That'd be some pretty nice value. But either way, I think they'll end up playing a lot of Jeremy Lin with some of these guys ruled out and MKG out for the season, Hairston gone. So there's kind of a chance for some of these other guys to step up here.
Right. I don't really love this game overall, to be honest. I do think there could be some nice value, but I do like Batum the most out of this. Yeah,
I'd probably go Batum the most and then Kemba second most, even with all things considered. And if Kaminsky draws a start, it's kind of hard. I mean, he's a volume player. I think he could do fine, but he usually does most off the bench. So it'd be interesting to see him with some more like Kemba's usage
on DraftKings. That's a great price. So
we'll have to see what the starting lineup is. So that's something to definitely be on the lookout for. With the Bucks side, John Henson's doubtful with a sore lower back, and Jared Bayless is questionable with a hyperextended knee. And they are starting the same lineup they've been. So that means OJ Mayo, probably the worst point guard in the NBA, and Mason Plumlee starting too. Michael Carter-Williams and Greg Monroe off the bench again.
Just a weird scenario overall.
It is. It's,
I guess most.
Jeez, I don't know. I'm not really on anybody in cash.
I'm not on anyone, dude.
Yeah. Tournament wise, I like Monroe still. I think Middleton offers value here. Not a great matchup if he draws Batum. And then Giannis, I think, can have a pretty big game. And then I really like tournament exposure to Michael Carter-Williams if Jared Bayless is ruled out.
Oh, if Jared Bayless is out, then he should get a good run.
Right. So that's kind of how I am with them, just treating them.
No love for Jabari, huh?
I don't know. He's been playing more. He's just not doing much. It's like I don't want him in tournaments because I don't think his upside is big enough. And then cash, he's way too risky. So
no cash gameplay. I was talking a little more tournaments, but
I don't know.
He hasn't had a huge game. You're right. He's been getting decent minutes though for his.
Oh yeah, he's big minutes. So yeah, but I kind of like all these guys in tournament options.
Let's go to Indiana at OKC here. This game could be really nice. 2 of 15 over under.
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma City favored by 9.
Yeah. So on Indiana side, we got Rodney Stuckey's out at least the next 3 games with a right foot bone bruise. Jordan Hill is questionable with a dislocated right finger. And then on the Thunder side, Andre Robertson's still out with the sprained right knee, and they had a minor trade getting rid of DJ Augustine and Steve Novak for Randy Foye. Why was Randy Foye such a hot commodity? That was bizarre. Like every team wanted him.
Backup point guard? I don't know. Shoots.
Well, they have Cameron Payne. Like we watched Foye all year and he's garbage. And then like trade deadline comes and everybody wants him. It's crazy. A combo 2 backup that's not even good. Like,
I don't know.
It's pretty weak. But yeah, anyways, yeah, this is a really high total. I like the 215. I think the Pacers could keep this close enough to where we see starters for majority of the fourth quarter. Anyone on the Pacers side, Paul George is kind of picking his game back up. I don't mind him.
Speaking of Paul George, Jay, you thought he was going to be MVP. I did not.
I did?
Yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah, I lost that bet too.
Game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the All-Star game. Yeah, he should have been MVP.
Yeah, tweet us what you think about that. At the end of the game, obviously, I had financial or jelly bean incentive on Russell Westbrook being the MVP.
Yeah, no,
no, dude, George has got it. But I don't know.
Russ
didn't get it. He didn't even get the scoring record.
Yeah, well, he's a point off. I mean, Russ just racked up some garbage time at the end. I think Paul George did too, actually.
Oh, he did. He did.
Hit some threes.
Yeah. Hot, and then he was.
Yeah.
At the end, just botching 3-pointers.
Yeah, I mean, Russ was the best. We talked about Russ was the best value. He was a huge underdog, and he won last year. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, back to back. Yeah, obviously for OKC, we love the studs, Durant, Westbrook here.
Yeah. I mean, Indy, I do like Paul George a lot. I probably will not strongly consider him in cash, but I like him a lot as a tournament team. Thunder give up points, and Paul George.
Miles Turner's the other guy we gotta like.
Miles Turner tournaments. Monte I actually like a lot in tournaments going against Deion Waiters. Obviously love that. It's kind of a game I think Monte can have a big game, like fast paced. Waiters horrible defender, so I like Monte a good bit in tournaments. And then if Jordan Hill's out, maybe some Jan Mahimi tournament exposure as well, but pretty much just those guys. And then, on the Thunder side, obviously Russ, KD are cash options. I think Enes Kanter is just a really good tournament option against Indy's front court. And then, I don't even know what to do with Ibaka anymore.
Nah. I mean, you can always justify playing Ibaka in a tournament. Just hope he has one of those 8-block games. But
right. Yeah. But, yeah, those are the only guys I'm looking at on the Thunder side.
Yeah. Juicy total. Definitely don't mind a game stack here for your expensive guys. But, yeah, it's just the standard options, KD, Westbrook. You don't have to talk about too much. Both of them don't have, like, an ideal matchup, but so much more.
Yeah, it's not an ideal matchup. So, I think you can do better in cash than pay up for one of these guys.
Yeah. Pace is just so high in this game, so we'll see.
It's nice. Yeah.
It's really nice. All right, let's go to Miami at Atlanta. We got all sorts of stuff. I feel bad for Chris Bosh. Hopefully he can.
Yeah.
But 196.5 over under. Atlanta favored by 9.5 here.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too, and I was like, wow, it's big. But then you look, you're looking at Whiteside is out, Bosch is out, and it kind of makes sense.
Didn't get traded too, which is tilting.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, for us, yeah. I mean, I don't care about the Heat, but I wanted to play Whiteside when he goes 36 minutes. That's not going to happen. But yeah, anyway, so Whiteside is suspended. He has a 1-game suspension, so he'll be out. Bosch is obviously out for a good amount of time, I think, with blood clots. Amari is fully expected to start, and then Luol Deng we're expecting to start at the 4, and he'll see a lot of time there with Winslow starting at the 3, probably with Gerald Green also playing a lot of time at the 3. Dwayne Wade is fully expected to play. I think he's just sitting out a bunch of practices lately, so we can assume he'll play. Obviously, this is a really low implied total for the Heat, so it's really hard to pick anyone. They are thin, though. So, I mean, the guy I probably like the most out of, everything considered price point is probably like Amari. I mean, he's taken it back, a few times this season. And if he gets like 24 minutes, I think he can put up a decent line here.
Yeah, only 4,200. I don't mind.
Yeah, cheap. I mean, it's a punt play.
His game against Miami or Atlanta this year, he played 21 minutes and put up 36.5 fantasy points.
Yeah, he has huge upside. I mean, he's still the pick and roll with him is big with Dragic. So I don't mind him. He's my favorite play probably. I think Haslam will kind of have to step up in this one as well. So and Luol Deng, I don't mind as a tournament play just with the amount of minutes he'll see. And then, and I don't mind Dwayne Wade as a tournament play either. With Bosch out, there's a lot of usage left behind. So I think Wade has the opportunity to step up a bit here, and I think he can have a pretty big game as well. But overall, nobody probably in cash really. Maybe Amari if you're desperate to save salary. This is just such a low implied total that it's really hard to justify going these guys on a 14-game slate when we have plenty of really, really high implied team totals.
Yep. I'm going to keep it simple on my end. I'm not going to talk about anyone here. You can go to Atlanta.
That's all right.
I'm not going to have anyone in this game, so I'm not going to be,
No, that's fine. So
tournament play, whatever. I'm off. I'm not.
That's all good. The Hawks side, we got Thiago Splitters out for the season after going through right hip surgery. And then they traded Justin Holiday and Shelvin Mack for they got Kirk Heinrich, Captain Kirk. So, yeah, the Hawks side, I mean, low implied total still. But I really like Paul Millsap here. And I think he's a cash game target for me. I know it's really hard to fit him. He's 7,800 on DK. But with how thin the Heat front court is, he'll be matched up against Luol Deng a lot. And I think Millsap can definitely take advantage of the size mismatch and the thin front court, possible foul trouble here. So I think Millsap's a great play. Miami's not a very strong defensive team without Hassan Whiteside as is. So I don't mind him there. And then tournament, I think you can have maybe some Horford exposure and possibly some Jeff Teague exposure as well.
Yeah, that's a good point on Millsap. On DraftKings, everyone's going to see the number one rank again, so it's a big red one. But it's a totally different matchup without Bosch and without Whiteside there. I mean, he's going to see Amari some, Dang some. I mean, it's going to be a good matchup for him. But
yeah, and I don't think you need to go him in cash. He'd be under on cash play, but I'm fine with it personally. But I think he makes for an amazing tournament play.
Right. All right, let's keep it moving. Minnesota, Memphis here. Decent game, 203.5 over under, 4.5 point favorites here for Memphis. No Jeff Green now for Memphis. No Gasol, totally different team here.
Yeah, very different team. I'll start with the Wolves real quick with injury news. Kevin Martin's questionable to sore right wrist.
Why did someone pick him up too, by the way?
Kevin Martin? I don't know. Yeah, probably risk concerns, probably. I mean, he's injury prone his whole career.
Some team could have to use him as just an off the bench.
He's such a liability defensively. I don't know. I was surprised he didn't get moved either. I mean, nobody got moved really. Nikola Pekovic, doubtful again, sore right ankle. KG, doubtful again with sore right knee. They're apparently out for the season, it sounds like. Nemanja Bjelica is out with a sore right foot. And then Tayshaun was out last game for the Chauncey retirement ceremony, and he's fully expected to be back, and we're expecting him to start in this one again with so Zach LaVine back to the bench. And on the Grizzlies side, we got let's see. So they had the trade. They traded Courtney Lee and Jeff Green, and they got back Birdman, Chris Anderson, PJ Hairston, and the locker room toxic Lance Stevenson.
Oh.
Probably my favorite personal trade. They just hauled in PJ Hairston and Lance Stevenson in a locker room that's already not known for being a great mold locker room. So I think there'll be some interesting. I mean, Matt Barnes is in there. This locker room is all of a sudden incredible to follow.
No Gasol, Gasol's hurt.
Yeah, no Gasol. Yeah. Yes, yeah, Marcus Gasol is out for the season, no timetable to return. Most likely out for the season with the foot injury. Lance Stevenson himself is questionable with a sore right hip flexor. And then big news for Memphis and DFS, Brandon Wright is cleared to play coming off his knee injury, so we can expect him back for this game. I'm sure he'll be very limited, but given time with Marc Gasol's injury being long-term, I think Brandon Wright will definitely be a strong DFS play. We saw this. Was it last year he picked up a decent amount of starts?
When he's starting, yeah.
Yeah, when he's starting and isn't on a strict minutes limit, he'll be a great play. But until then, it's definitely hesitant to use him in any format.
Yep. On Minnesota's side, or do you want to start with Minnesota or the Grizzlies?
You can start with Minnesota, yeah. Is there anyone in cash? I think you got to look at Karl Anthony Towns, who was already like matchup proof, and then now we have Marc Gasol out. So I'm definitely looking at Karl Anthony Towns quite a bit, and then I don't know.
Champ winner,
yeah, man, yeah. Gorgie Jang. What about Jang? I mean, he just keeps crushing.
God about Jang, dude. I was playing him every day.
Yeah, it's hard.
His price has gone way up, though.
Yeah, let's see. So
6,700 based on how he's been playing. I mean, he's getting the high.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm fine with him. 6,700.
Yeah, I like those guys, and I'm bullish on Wiggins having a big second half too. I mean, he's starting to take some shots.
Yeah, he is.
Seems like he's kind of finding it.
I just wish he did more than score. He's still too dependent on scoring. So for me, he's a tournament option, and maybe some Ricky Rubio tournament option in this game as well. Those are kind of the guys I'm looking at on the Wolves. And yeah, Jang's 6,500 on FanDuel. So yeah. It's not bad for what he's been doing, and with Marc Gasol out as well, I think it's huge for the Wolves here to attack with the front court.
I like that call. What about Memphis, Jay? What are we doing with the wings now that there's more space? I mean, is Barnes really playable? Tony Allen, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a whole different team now. I feel like with the second unit with Jeff Green gone now. I mean, there's a lot of usage opening up without Jeff Green. He was a high volume shooter off the bench. So I think cash-wise, it's tough. I think you can get away with maybe some Zebo, maybe some Conley, but I'd probably lean both of those guys more tournaments. And then, I mean, Brandon Wright possibly in tournaments, but I don't think he'll play that many minutes to offer enough upside. And obviously it's not safe enough for cash. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we'll see Lance Stevenson if he plays in this one. If he's out, they'll be, even more thin, have to rely on, maybe a few extra minutes for Matt Barnes, Tony Allen getting an extra, run in the starting lineup. So kind of the same thing overall with Memphis, though. We're kind of looking at Zebo getting a spike in usage with Marc Gasol out and Conley as well. So, and then with Jeff Green out, I think you got to look at the bench a little bit. But that kind of depends on, their new acquisitions in PJ Harrison and Lance Stevenson, what role they'll play. So,
yeah, I love Zebo. Do you think Towns is going to cover him much at all, or do you think it's going to be more Jang?
I think it's going to be more Jang probably. But either way, it's tough for Zebo in the paint against those guys, big bodies. Yeah, definitely be banging heads.
Yeah, I still like Zebo, especially in tournaments. We'll see if he turns out to be a cash gameplay. All right, game that definitely has some fantasy goodness. Philly at New Orleans. I mean, is Anthony Davis going to survive this game, Jay? News notes. He
is. What
in that All-Star game?
He did. Do you have the total for this one?
The total for this one. Sorry, I was just looking for that. It looks like it's 209.5, and New Orleans is a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, the Pelicans 9-point favorite. That's crazy. Yeah. So on the Sixers side, Nerlens Noel will play after dealing with some right knee tendonitis, and then they waived Jakar Sampson to make room for Joel Anthony. So pretty minor, honestly. Pelicans side, Eric Gordon is still sidelined with a finger injury, and Bryce DeJohn-Jones is in the middle of finalizing a 3-year deal, so he will stick around. This is a great game. 209 total. Two really, really bad defenses. I mean, just two really bad teams. So definitely some fantasy goodness in this one. I definitely like Noel and Okafor. I just strongly like using them with when one or the other's out. So unfortunately, they're both in this one. Do you have a favorite out of those two? You maybe
I
lean in
normally like
cash.
Noel, but I'm not on him unless one of them is out. I kind of like Okafor to start the season, but now his prices kind of come up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really high on both of them in this game, but I think it's just slightly risky to
Okafor
go
been
either in cash.
strong down the stretch for the
Yeah,
great.
yeah, definitely. I probably like him more as in terms of safety, but upside, I think I like Noel more in this one against Philly with kind of the blocks and steals upside that he has. And then I like Ish Schmidt.
New Orleans, right?
Yeah, sorry, Pelicans. Yeah, terrible with the ball. Yeah, and I like Ish Smith a lot for tournaments. I guess all three of those guys are more tournaments, and kind of the guy who falls into cash game is maybe like Bob Covington. I still like him in this
If
game.
he starts again, and
Yeah.
well, I mean, he had a huge game with Noel out, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of, those four guys. And, if you want cash game exposure to this game, then you can maybe go one, but I definitely wouldn't load up on them. This is Philly and they can easily burn you in a blowout or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, not looking at anyone else. It's pretty much just those top four guys.
Let's talk New Orleans. Let's talk Drew Holiday first. I really liked him in this spot. A little revenge. Got traded from Philly. He's been just balling, dude.
Yeah, no, this is a great matchup for him. So I'm totally fine with him in cash. I'm fine with Anthony Davis in cash. I know it's hard to afford. We have a lot of high price guys on this slate. So really got to go kind of for cash at least. You want to go, the safest route and not really reach for some of these vulnerable guys or value plays that have a really low floor. Obviously, Anthony Davis has the injury concern. So we have a ton of super high price guys where you're going to have to figure out the best lineup construction. Positional scarcity plays a role, obviously. So it's a really difficult slate overall, I think. But I think Ant Davis is still one of the top cash options on the slate.
Yeah, and the only other guy that I want to talk about is Norris Cole. I guess you could make an argument for Ryan Anderson too, but
yeah, I have both those guys. A little bit of tournament exposure against the Sixers here, so I'm fine with them in tournaments.
All right, let's keep it going with Toronto and Chicago here. 202 over under, 5.5 point spread. Toronto is favored. Chicago on a back-to-back here, but at home. Derrick Rose, getting a lot of volume now in games. What are the news and notes here, Jay?
On Toronto's side, we got James Johnson, who's been out with a sprained left ankle. He will return, so we can see Norman Powell go back to the bench most likely. And then Damari Carroll's still without a timetable. On the Bulls side, we got they traded Kirk Heinrich and added Justin Holiday, and then Nikola Mirotic and Jimmy Butler are still out.
Okay. What are you thinking here? Chicago-wise, back-to-back a little tough. Etuan Moore, I know you.
Yeah, Etuan is garbage, man. He's a terrible player. Bulls side, off the back-to-back with this team, Powell's age, Rose's injury concerns, it's definitely not enticing to go those two guys, and they're obviously the strongest cash game options on this team usually. So it's tough. They're 5.5 point dogs at home. Coming off a back-to-back for these guys, I think, did Powell sit the whole fourth quarter tonight? Do you know? I think he did.
I went out to dinner.
Yeah.
The game starting.
I don't think he came back in. But either way, I'm not expecting him to go full minutes on this back-to-back. So I'm not strongly considering him in this one. And then Rose on the back-to-back, I'm equally as worried about just kind of obviously his injury history here. So it's tough. And then, I'm not going Etuan Moore in cash.
I'm not going on the Bulls side, really.
Yeah, nobody in cash for me. I think tournament-wise, it depends on your comfort level of the likelihood that Powell plays limited minutes, Rose plays limited minutes, to the upside of the 10% chance that they go full minutes. You could get something out of it then. I think Taj has a little bit of upside if Powell is limited, or any of these guys are really. And Bobby Portis, I think, could see a even more of a minute spike in this one. but really the upside is lacking here. So I'm kind of overall off the Bulls, and it's not a great matchup going against Toronto anyways. So you're not really looking at these guys too hard. Toronto side, I mean, I think with Jimmy Butler out, obviously DeMar DeRozan's been playing really well. I don't mind him. I think he's a strong option. And then I like Kyle Lowry quite a bit. And the Bulls defensively have just been really, really bad lately, which obviously happens when you lose your best defender in Butler. So I don't mind Lowry and DeRozan. I like them a lot. And I don't mind some Valanciunas in tournament exposure against this front court that gets shredded often.
Yeah, I really like Lowry and DeRozan for tournaments. I think there's some other guys that people will naturally drift towards. But in this spot, I think both of them could have a great game, especially DeRozan, who should have a big size advantage in this spot. So
yeah, definitely.
I like both of them. Just for the sake of keeping it, or do you have anyone else?
No.
Yeah, keeping it going. 14 games, we got a lot. In this next game, we might have to spend a little bit more time on. Houston at Phoenix. This is probably one of my favorite games overall. 215 over under. And 8-point favorites for Houston. Dealt Montezumas, but really not as many deals as I was thinking Houston might make. But great spot here against Phoenix to trade away Markieff. They're just trying to lose, and this game could be. I looking at that, I think it could even go over that in total.
Yeah, my only concern is a blowout. Like Phoenix, Markieff was balling out.
It comes out so flat, so often.
Yeah, they're bad.
And they're in Phoenix.
But like, it still worries me that just looking at the Suns roster.
I get it, man, but
bad.
I'm definitely not going to try to predict a blowout in this spot, especially only an 8-point.
Yeah, you can't. I'm just hesitant to load up.
I can see 13.5 points spread.
No, yeah, for sure. It's just a spread I look at, and I think it could easily get out of hand. But either way, you don't want to put too much stock into that, especially when you break down the matchup. And even if this thing is over in 3 quarters, Harden could get a triple-double by then. So, news and notes for the Rockets. Terrence Jones is still out with concussion. And then, they traded away Marcus Thornton and Donatas Motiejūnas. So, a little bit of losing Thornton off the bench here. The Suns side, Brandon Knight didn't practice and is very unlikely to return with that groin injury. Ronnie Price actually could return. He's questionable with coming off right toe surgery. So, and then obviously they had the blockbuster trade of the trade deadline and trading Markieff for Chris Humphries and DeJuan Blair. So different team for them. On the Rockets side, I'm sure, Harden's 10-6 on DK. I think he's arguably the strongest cash option, probably up there, really close.
Yeah, I think he's the top overall.
Fantastic matchup, obviously a good pace. Should have no problem scoring at will against this backcourt. Definitely high on him. I really like Dwight in this one as well. Probably lean more tournament for him. And then I really like Trevor Ariza in tournament here. And possibly some Beverly on DK.
Yeah, I like that. Harden was 4 for 19 versus Phoenix earlier this year and still got to 40 fantasy points.
Yeah, his floor is just
even remotely efficient in this game. He should go
for 55. I definitely see 55 for him. So really a strong cash play. And then on the Sun side, I really like Alex Len with Markieff out of town. Assuming, kind of hoping he gets the start, but we'll see since Houston plays really small with Ariza at the 4. So we'll see what the Suns do, but assuming Alex Len gets the start, he's had great numbers with Markieff off the court and in the starting lineup. So he's a guy I'd be willing to go and cash with this matchup, obviously. And outside of that, I'm not as high on Archie with Ronnie Price. Questionable. I think that'll swing my thoughts on the backcourt for the Suns. But, tournament-wise, though, I like Booker still. And Archie for sure if Price doesn't play.
Yeah, I like Booker, especially if he's going to continue to get the minutes. I just like his game in general. I think he's definitely a builder.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. So, he's in a good spot, obviously, too, against Houston here. So, definitely some upside with some of these guys.
All right, let's go to the game that probably has the most overall fantasy goodness right there. Denver and Sacramento, 218 over under, and Sacramento 4-point favorites here. We got Boogie, we got Rondo, we got everyone for the Kings, and then Jokic just balling, dude.
Yeah, it's tough.
He's gonna get in a lot of foul trouble.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and the Nuggets
did slow down at the end. He was balling, and
he's been Job's getting big minutes too. Yeah, it's a mess. The front court's a mess.
It is a mess. I looked at his game log. I was remembering that stretch where
he was going off.
53, 26 per. The last 3 games have been bad. So
yeah, it's been really bad. Darrell Arthur is expected to play in this one, sore left quad, so that sucks for some of the front court there. And Jameer Nelson doubtful with sprained left wrist. On the Kings side, we got Marco Bellinelli and Omri Caspi are both questionable, both going through dental work. Which is kind of weird that they're both doing it at the same time. I don't know. Ben McLemore, probable with sprained right wrist, and Rajon Rondo, probable with toe injury. So kind of the same for the Kings, assuming Bello and Caspi play in this one. But, yeah, on the Nuggets side, cash-wise, I mean, obviously we want a piece of this game. A 218 total close spread is huge, and Kings are arguably the worst defense in the league right now. So who are your favorite cash game plays on the Nuggets?
I think it's Moutier and I think it's Barton. Maybe Gallo.
I agree. Yeah, I got Moutier. Moutier is probably my favorite cash game play. Maybe Gallo. And then, yeah, I think Barton, definitely strong play. Definitely love him in tournaments. And I don't mind some Jokic exposure. If he sees an uptick of minutes, I think he can definitely produce a big line here.
It sounds like Jameer's going to miss again tomorrow, right?
Yeah, he's doubtful. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Moutier is in a great spot.
Okay. What about on Sacramento's side? Pay up for Boogie?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great matchup for Boogie, but it's tough and we've already gone over a lot of high-priced guys, so it's you can't get them all. So you're definitely sacrificing, and you're going to be fading a lot of these guys in good matchups. I mean, on DK, I don't think it's really realistic to have Boogie and Harden. So you're either fading Harden, with a really easy matchup versus the Suns, or you're fading Boogie against the Nuggets. So definitely tough.
Yeah, definitely really tough spot.
What about Rondo? I mean, he's been on fire, and obviously a great matchup, and especially matchup against Moutier, a turnover machine. So I think Rondo could definitely take advantage of him have a huge game.
He's been dominating.
He's expensive. I mean, he's $9K on FanDuel. I love him.
DraftKings and the triple-double bonus.
Yeah, not bad at all. Really strong option. So probably one of my more favored tournament plays, all things considered. If Marco Bellinelli's out and Caspi's out, they're going to be a little thin too. So I think a intriguing tournament option, if we get word of these two guys who are questionable before the lineup's lock, is Darren Collison. I think can also have a big game with this matchup.
Yeah, Rudy Gay potentially interesting as well.
And yeah, obviously, yeah, for sure, some Rudy Gay tournament exposure. Absolutely.
Cool. All right, let's keep moving to Golden State at Portland. 220 over under. Golden State by 9. I mean, it's all the usual suspects in this game.
Yeah, it really is the usual. Nothing on the Warriors side. Blazers side, they picked up Brian Roberts and waived Tim Frazier. And then Noah Vonleh got a DNP CD last game, even though he's available to play. So that's something to monitor here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love Curry. I love Clay. Draymond. It just depends.
Yeah, Curry against Lillard with a 220 on the road. Curry is another really strong cash game play, obviously. So you have like 4 guys over 10K, 5 guys where they're all really, really solid. So it's going to be really tough choosing which one of these guys. Luckily, they played different positions. I mean, you got Harden at shooting guard, Curry at point guard, Anthony Davis, power forward, Boogie, power forward, center, on each side or whatever. So I think it's going to come down to where the value plays are at. You're taking the best cheap guys at positions that, matter more than other positions given the upside at that position. So, like, if you wanted to go hard in at shooting guard, you could kind of punt point guard and fade Curry or vice versa. That's definitely but I think this slate kind of makes up for stars and scrubs type slate overall.
Yeah.
Definitely
I like Curry the most here in terms of just a tournament play / cash game play. He's the guy, after All-Star breaks, maybe they're not totally clicking as much as normal and just goes off. Other guy like Lillard, dude, he went for 70 fantasy points for Golden State earlier this year.
Yeah.
40 real points.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I love Lillard at home. It's only a 9-point spread, so I'm not expecting like a massive blowout.
Portland picking the blowout for the 8-point spread, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I think the spreads are wrong. Yeah, I think this game will be closer than the Houston Phoenix game. Yeah, so
right, I'll take that. I'll take what not a jump in the snow type thing, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll have to do a redo on that one. But yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think Houston has a better chance of blowing out Phoenix than the Warriors do Portland.
Okay,
done. Yeah, and I think some tournament exposure on the Warriors side to Draymond is I'm fine with it, especially since people are kind of falling off him lately. That's kind of a time where I want to jump in with his triple-double upside, obviously, as well. So, Blazers side, yeah, Lillard. You're fine with Lillard and cash as a cash play?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a lock, but I'm definitely fine with it given the history.
Yeah. And then, I agree. He's a great tournament play, too. They have a high team total here. So, CJ McCollum, I don't mind with tournament exposure. Mo Harkless, definitely interesting, especially if he draws another start. I'm fine with some exposure to him in tournaments possibly here. But definitely not going him in cash, even with the start. We've seen Harkless in positions like this the last 3 or 4 years where he draws starts, and he's definitely one of the riskier, kind of like a James Johnson type spot start. You think he's good to go. He's had a few good games in a row, and then it's a massive dud. So something I want to avoid on a 14-game slate. It's just not necessary. But I do think he has some appeal with his upside we've seen lately. So limit him to tournaments. And, yeah, no one else really on this team I'm looking at. Gerald Henderson's been playing solid minutes, but just matchup-wise, I'm not – I think it's mostly going to be Lillard and McCollum. And then Harkless at his price and his role can offer some upside here.
Yeah, I'm on Lillard. That's really it for Portland. And
yeah, no, that's fair.
Steph, Clay, the usual suspects.
Right.
All right, Boston, Utah. This is going to be a pretty bad game, I think. Even though Boston playing with nice pace, but they're just I can't.
It's like one of the
5.5 over under.
Yeah.
Boston by 10.
What?
Yeah.
Boston by how many?
Oh no, pick them.
Oh, I was like, dude, 10 points. I'm gonna empty my bankroll on that and that. No, they'll probably win by 11 or something.
I don't know why I saw 10. My apologies there.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, but I'm with you. I mean, this is one of the fastest paced teams versus one of the slowest paced teams. Jazz aren't back to back. They just slow it down so much that it's unfortunately not appealing for Boston. But I'll go through injuries really quick. Kelly Olynyk is expected to miss 2 weeks with the right shoulder injury. And then on the Jazz side, there's no news or notes. They're on a back-to-back, of course. So Boston side, low implied total, of course, tough, stingy defense, slow pace, probably not going anyone in cash. But my favorite tournament play I like a lot is Jared Solinger. And I think a lot of people have been really scared of Gobert, but we've seen some guys put up some really big lines against him lately. So obviously we saw Gortat tonight put up a huge line. So with Kelly Olynyk out, I think Solinger has that upside that we saw kind of earlier in the season. Big lines from him, huge rebounding. So he's a guy I like for tournaments, as well as I think you can have some tournament exposure to Isaiah Thomas. Evan Turner seeing an increase in minutes as of late. I think I'm fine with tournament exposure to him as well.
Yeah, Solinger's interesting. I'm mostly fade guys against Utah in general. It was interesting to see the Wizards guy do well in the Nene, and Gortat had good games, but it is what it is. I still for the most part. And Utah on a back-to-back, they do get the benefit of playing up in pace here. Don't mind Favors as a tournament play after he burned everyone tonight. People will be off him. I don't mind that at all. And Gobert. If you could have
Yeah,
there too.
Gobert's been really solid and safe. Really high floor lately.
6,700 only 200 DraftKings, which is a really
Yeah, that's really really good. He's playing massive minutes here too. So the back to back, is not great for him minutes wise. But I still like him. I lean more tournament for him, and yeah, I'm with you. I think favors tournament exposure. Rodney Hood, I'm not as high on, especially in cash with the matchup with Avery Bradley there. And then Gordon Hayward has Jay Crowder, so not too high on him either in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think really it's just the big guys here that I'm interested in, and maybe Isaiah, I guess, going back to Boston for if you want to risk someone in this game for the late night sweat. Other game that's late here, the 8:30 games. I really only want guys for the 7:30. The 3 games before the last 2 games are all great.
Houston, Phoenix,
Portland. So if you're doing late swap, that's when you want to get the guys in. But don't wait until 8:30 because I'm not as high on the last 2.
Yeah, these last 2 games are just terrible.
And the last one in particular, San Antonio with the Lakers. I mean, I don't know. So.
No, yeah.
Us all tonight. I mean, who knows? I mean, give us the news and notes. If there's some interesting stuff with San Antonio, it's so hard to trust with Pop and then the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know if we've really gotten popped all season outside of tonight. I think this was like the first real pop. Kawhi, I think, was 80% owned on FanDuel.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I had him too. I thought it was a relatively easy play, but you never know what people do in cash. So he's questionable for this game, looking like a game time decision with a left calf tightness. He actually got kicked in the calf. That's why it was a late scratch. So
when did he get kicked in the calf in practice?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. And they just didn't say anything about it. So pretty brutal late scratch though. Just no information. He just played like 26 minutes or something in the All-Star game on Sunday. So definitely out of nowhere, but these things happen. On DK, you got to be on top of it. I know we definitely had the tweet out, or as early as possible. So you have time to late swap here in situations like that. And then on the Lakers side, Anthony Brown is questionable with a sprained right ankle, and Larry Nance will play coming off his sore right knee injury, and he will come off the bench behind Julius Randle.
Yeah, Lakers said they're going to be playing their young guys more, so definitely monitor that.
Right. Yeah, I
think the Lakers guys could offer some value down the stretch.
I do too, and I'm not even like super opposed to them in tournaments with D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle here. Randle's been rebounding like a beast lately. Obviously, I don't love Larry Nance back, kind of cutting into his minutes and upside, but I still don't mind Julius Randle in tournaments. I think, Byron said he's leaning towards starting D'Angelo second half. Obviously, he's not because he's Byron Scott. I think he still has some upside if Byron is true to his word that he will get increased minutes, especially this is a 13.5 point spread. So we could see extended time for the Lakers bench in this one. But yeah, nobody in cash, I don't think, on either team. I mean, I don't know what to do with the Spurs here. We've seen it so many times where they're in massive blowouts and nobody offers too much value because they're so deep and they spread their points out. They can have 6 guys in double-digit scoring and just nobody's playing over 28 minutes. If Kawhi's out, are you looking at possibly Aldridge?
Yeah, I like Aldridge if Kawhi's out. Also, don't mind the wings. I hate playing Danny Green, but
yeah, it's tough. I think this is definitely a better spot than tonight against the Clippers. But yeah, the back-to-back for the Spurs. So, this could be another pop. Parker and Duncan are, kind of risky in my opinion.
No chance.
So I think Patty Mills offers some really good value here if you want to risk the late game start and have some exposure to Patty Mills at tournaments. I think is fine. Mm-hmm. I think Aldridge tournament exposure is fine, especially if Kawhi's out. It's kind of it for me on the Spurs side.
Yeah, that's it. And then we talked a little bit about the Lakers. Do you have any other comments on this game before we kind of give a recap here?
Kobe? Any Kobe exposure? his volume is just out of control.
He just did it in San Diego, so people are going to look at that. Went for 36.5 fantasy points, but he's better on the road now.
Yeah. Playing in front of fans, he'll never see
26 fantasy points a game versus San Antonio
Spurs. Yeah.
6K on DraftKings. I mean, you get 30.
Yeah, I mean, you're 50. Right. I'm not too high. I mean, Clarkson's been playing all right, but it's just not a good spot for these guys. My favorite tournament play is probably Julius Randle. I'm in combination of people. Obviously, the matchup is brutal, and then Larry Nance back kind of just get a lot of people off him. But I think his rebounding upside is still huge in this one, so I don't mind exposure to him. But yeah, overall, these last 2 games really are really, really bad. You don't want to target.
And it is to be noted that Byron Scott said that Bryant would play a tad less over the last third of the season. His splits actually aren't severe at all. He's been better at home, which is kind of surprising just thinking about the games where I've seen him do well. But,
it is surprising.
But I'm just not on Kobe.
No, that's fine.
Let's talk about just kind of a recap here. I do think it's a Stars and Scrubs day. And just generally, there's going to be so much value, so you got to be paying attention up until the very end here, especially on a huge day like this. Give me your favorite couple studs, Jay, and then your bold call of the day.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My favorite studs probably, we have a lot of these 10K guys. Curry, Harden. Curry and Harden are probably my 2 favorite, where I think they're very safe as far as guards there, but definitely expensive. I'm probably more fine fading Boogie than fading Harden, I think, on this slate. So I'll try to kind of pay up for two studs. Obviously on DK it's harder with the much tighter cap. So I don't think you can do that. But on FanDuel, I definitely think you can and should pay up for 2 of those kind of top 5 or 6 priced guys, just because they're in great matchups. And then we have value plays. My bold call probably for cash, I'm thinking Alex Len will make a really, really great play here with Markieff gone.
All right. My favorite studs for the day are James Harden, number 1, and then I'm going to give it a tie. I like the point guards in the Golden State game, like Lillard and Curry quite a bit as studs. So we're on the same 2 guys, but I'm going to throw Lillard into that mix. And my bold call, dude, is Drew Holiday will be on a team. I think he's going to go off against Philly.
Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, he definitely should. Has the upside, close the game out. Insane high usage too. So, and you have the upside that Anthony Davis gets injured.
Yep. And
so Drew gets all the shots.
Love it, Jay.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, I just want to say before we take off that just make sure that you're on top of everything. Obviously, we have a lot of different starting lineups. We have a lot of players who just got traded who might not be ready, whether it's due to physical or travel issue or whatever. So it's something to definitely keep monitoring throughout the day. If you are busy tomorrow or you think you might be crunched in time, I'd probably recommend sitting this slate out, just given that it's huge and the last 20 minutes will be crucial and kind of gathering all this information to your advantage. And you definitely don't want to get behind other people following the news closer than you if you don't have time. So definitely a huge slate. Be around during lineup lock and just make sure you have a grasp on rotations and starting lineups and everything, which you can obviously find on our Twitter feed. So good luck on this slate. Justin and Brian, I think, will be with you guys on Sunday to break down the Monday slate. So good luck, guys.